At an elevation of 5,280 feet, there is no NFL team on earth that can get Russell Wilson closer to God than the Denver Broncos. December 8th, 2021, I called that shit. Welcome to That's Good Sports. I am Brandon. How did Ciara's Level Up become the most played song in my playlist, Perna?
Level up, level up, level up. 5, 4, 3, 2. Level up, level up, level up, level up, level up.
Level up, level up, level up, level up.
No, you want this yummy, yummy all in your tongue.
This yummy in your tummy. Speaking of tummy, I can't wait to introduce you to green chili, Russ and Ciara. Russell Wilson landed in Denver with his agent. Broncos country rejoiced. The 12th man, though, they mourned the loss of not just Russell Wilson, but also Bobby Wagner. And today, I want to talk about how the Broncos pulled off the greatest heist in NFL history and ask, what the hell is Pete Carroll doing? At age 70, Pete Carroll is ready for a total rebuild. At age 70, Pete Carroll asked, what are we rebuilding again? Today, That's Good Sports. Hey, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Do it! Today's episode is sponsored by manscaped.com/goodsports. Now, you may have noticed that I got a haircut recently and that my face went through, some looks last month. But now that I look like a respectable gentleman again, I'm feeling invigorated with the fresh cut and the perfect body cleansing kit, thanks to Manscaped and their ultra premium collection. I did use the Lawnmower 4.0 to mow down my massive beard, and I'll be honest, the forest that overgrew in my pants. But I'm also really enjoying Manscaped on every inch of my body with their aluminum-free deodorant, body wash, and 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner. Besides a random bar of soap that I use for an area I will not name, and a loofah, my shower looks like an ad for Manscaped. What I love about the shampoo and body wash is that it uses no synthetic chemicals and they are infused with natural ingredients like coconut water and aloe vera to keep your skin and hair from drying out like a running back's career after turning 30. I usually work out midday and don't shower until the evening, so the deodorant and body spray allow me to smell like a human for the rest of my workday. Upgrade your shower routine and toss your mismatched soaps and chemical-ridden washes for a refined signature shower routine with my link below for 20% off your order. Manscaped.com/goodsports. They'll take care of your whole body. Go ahead. Call John Elway, Johnny Hooker, and George Payton, Paul Newman, because Denver just pulled off the greatest robbery since the Sting. We are Ocean's 11, and you're the fucking casino. Stay out of the casino, Calvin Ridley. Now, I do feel for Seahawks fans. We should treat losing a franchise quarterback the way we treat someone when their grandma dies, with respect, sympathy, and by trying to exit the conversation as quickly as possible so they don't bring us down with them. Unfortunately for ESPN's biggest Seahawks fan, Mina Kimes, Adam Schefter foreshadowed this exact scenario via an April Fool's prank.
You have not heard about what's happening today.
What is happening, Adam?
The Seattle Seahawks, okay? The Seattle Seahawks are busy getting ready for the draft this month.
Literally, I'm calling HR on you. I'm calling HR on you. I'm calling HR.
That occurred well before many thought Adam Schefter's reporting was the joke. But the day from hell was not over for Seahawks fans, as then they learned their team cut Bobby Wagner, who just came off a season with 118 tackles, a sack, and a pick. Bobby, yeah, he's past his prime, but he's still a top 20, top 15 linebacker in the NFL, and the last piece of the Legion of Boom Seattle had to hold on to. It is truly an end of an era there. Imagine if in the early 90s, Pat Bowlen chose Dan Reeves over John Elway, an old school coach who wanted to run first and win with defense. That's exactly what Seattle just did. And instead of bringing in a young, innovative, offensive, forward-thinking coach like Denver did with Mike Shanahan, or like Seattle's two biggest division rivals in the Rams and 49ers deploy, you essentially bet on your bouncer instead of your stripper to keep your titty bar in business, Seattle. Now, the interesting nugget in my eyes, next to Bones Highland, of course, was learning that Russell Wilson only wanted to be traded to the Broncos. He refused to sign his no-trade clause for the Commanders, who now have Carson Wentz, and the Eagles, per some reports. Why wouldn't a man with a high character and a great respect for women not want to play for Dan Snyder? Can you imagine agreeing to be traded to play for the Commanders and that scumbag on National Women's Day? Not Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson passed his physical, which for a man who spends $1 million a year on his body, not even God himself would be able to find a flaw on this perfect human specimen. Joe Flacco, he also spent $1 million a year on his body, but that was just to ensure his eyebrows never connected again. In exchange for Wilson, the Broncos surrendered 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, and got Seattle's 4th in exchange for a 5th. Also sent over Drew Lock to free up jersey number 3, of course, Shelby Harris, and the biggest piece, in my opinion, former first-round tight end Noah Fant. They surrendered a lot so that we never have to surrender to the Chiefs again. As Mike Kliss mentioned, moving those players and picks actually vacated about $36.42 million in cap space, giving the Broncos even more money than they needed to accommodate Russell Wilson's $24 million salary and cap hit. Denver also still has 10 draft picks. That's 3 more than Seattle still has, including 4 in the top 100, just like Seattle. Now, Seahawks fans, here's who you are getting. Drew Lock, a.k.a. Horsecock Lock, and don't you dare try and call him Seacock Lock, all right? I never hated Drew Lock, but he is the definition of expendable. He might fit Pete Carroll's run-first philosophy, but I will be shocked if Seattle doesn't draft their next QB at 9. I loved Shelby Harris, and I mean, I loved that man in a very sexual way, but he is a 30-year-old defensive tackle. That said, he will win you at least 1 football game, Seattle, by blocking a last-second field goal attempt by Matt Gay or Robbie Gould, so enjoy. Most importantly, you get Noah Fant. Now, this hurts a little bit because he would be thriving catching passes from, Russell Wilson. Fant does play his best football with Drew Lock, but Seattle will need to exercise his 5th-year option or he will be a free agent after 2022. He was expendable because Denver has Albert O and a deep tight end class in the draft where they might replace him. Might I suggest Colorado State tight end Trey McBride, who will only leave you at the altar 3 times. Plus, there are about 100 free agent tight ends if the Broncos really think that's a need. Either way, Russ will make Albert O look like Albert. Oh my God, I can't believe we just scored 60 points on the fucking Chiefs. So let's recap why Seattle really lost this trade. Seattle picked an old-ass coach who never won anything in the NFL without Russell Wilson over Russell Wilson. At least the Seahawks will never get sued for ageism. 70-year-old Pete Carroll. The Broncos got a franchise quarterback, a perennial top 10, top 5 talent when he doesn't break his finger mid-season in exchange for some draft picks, one of which they would have used on a QB anyway, and 3 players. Only one of which has a ton of upside in Fant, who Denver already has a talented, cheaper replacement for. Seattle got worse at the most important position in all sports, and now have the ability to replace that position in what many consider the worst QB draft class in years. The Broncos will be good in 2022, so The 2023 first rounder they gave the Seahawks is probably going to be a 28 to 32 pick. Denver pairs Russ Wilson with the young head coach who got the best football out of Aaron Rodgers. Seattle, you get a nice QB who is most well known for having a giant penis. As a Broncos fan, it does feel a little weird not having the Colts involved when we steal a Hall of Fame Super Bowl winning quarterback from their team. And if there was any doubt, I think this ESPN graphic says it all about who won the trade. Very simply, Pete Carroll and John Schneider, Seahawks GM, they struggled to build a team with Russell Wilson. Building one without him will only be harder. Pete Carroll committed the great sin, refusing to adopt his philosophy to the strength of his QB and let his ego become bigger than his ability to evolve as a coach. You're not half the coach Belichick is, and look how it's going for him. I am very pleased with this exchange. I don't think the Broncos gave up too much. No. If Pete Carroll wanted us to name a mountain after him, it wouldn't have been too much. And over there we have Mount Pete. Yeah, the highest peak in Colorado. Because you'd have to be high to trade Russell Wilson. And that doesn't even mention the fact that Russell Wilson makes Denver a much more appealing destination for free agents, specifically Von Miller. Now teasing us with these Russell Wilson Instagram posts. It's obviously a big deal that they got this deal with Russell Wilson done prior to the legal tamponing period, because if you don't get your tampons in before the period, free agency can be a real bloodbath. Tampering period. Ex-Colorado Rocky Russell Wilson is back in the Mile High City, and John Elway's last move was hiring GM George Payton, who got Russell Wilson. Never forget, John Elway is king, baby.
Johnny John
And also, Broncos fans, we can say goodbye to that fucking quarterback carousel. I never want to see that shit again in my life. I want the carousel to come off its axis and roll into the sea and catch fire on the way and somehow burn underwater so that it's both hot and cold, dry and wet at the same time until it hits the seafloor where Satan's asshole opens up from the sand like a hidden stingray and swallows that thing and takes it down to the 7th level of hell where it will suffer like I did the last 6 years watching Broncos football. Now Russell Wilson immediately makes the Broncos a Super Bowl contender. Eat poo-poo, Nick Wrong.
Now the Super Bowl chances are even further away because he's not on a better team, he doesn't have a better coach, and he's in an impossible division.
Do you know how I know Nathaniel Hackett is a better coach than Pete Carroll? He wouldn't give up 2 first-rounders for a fucking safety. Seattle gave up as many first-round picks for Jamal Adams as Denver gave up for Russell Wilson.
Denver is not a Super Bowl contender.
Hey, Nick, shut the fuck up.
His big issue with Seattle was offensive line. I don't know how much Broncos games he's been watching, but that offensive line ain't great, buddy.
Shut the fuck up.
No,
The Seahawks had the 8th or 9th worst pass blocking line in the league last year. Denver had the 9th best pass blocking line. And since entering the NFL, no QB has been sacked more than Russell Wilson, 427 sacks. Denver is a better team who just received an award for having the best draft in 2021, which means they are built for the future. This is a slam dunk. Russell Wilson last year threw 9 touchdowns on deep balls. The Broncos quarterbacks didn't throw 9 deep balls total last season.
3, 2, 1, level up.
A good quarterback helps your team win games. Russell Wilson has 104 wins already. That's 16th best all time, trailing only Matt Ryan and Aaron Rodgers for active QBs. Russ struggled in a few games after he returned from that finger surgery too soon. And once he healed completely, he completed 64.6% of his passes through 15 touchdowns to 3 picks, and Seattle averaged 29 points per game, and his passer rating was 5th best in the league. Now imagine what he does with a head coach that fucking wants him and wants to throw the ball with him and is willing to call an offense to his strengths. Imagine. Thanks for watching That's Good Sports. Please subscribe here on YouTube. We'll have some more videos coming out soon. You can watch the video that's on the screen. Click it. It's really good. Click that little video and then like this video and then tell me how much you love me in the comments. I am desperate for your attention.